Hello, all you weirdos. Jim here, and happy Summerween to everybody. Now, if I asked you, what is Batman's biggest nightmare? What is Batman's biggest fears? If you don't think of the alley, pearls, gunshots, Zorro, Robin's dying, if you don't think of any of those things, then I think that you might like this issue a bit more than I did. But we're going to get into this. This is part of the DC Comics spooky summertime event, Night Terrors, and this is my honest review of Night Terrors Batman #1.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Night Terrors Batman #1 is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Guillem with the Damian Wayne backup story by Joshua Williamson and art by David LaFuente. I'm going to talk a bit about both of these. Now, I've talked to a lot of people who told me that this Batman tie-in book, along with Night Terrors First Blood, would go a long way in determining how much they will be involved with Night Terrors and DC Comics over the next couple of months. And that goes way beyond just being good or bad, but more about whether this tie-in feels important and necessary to the event, because if Batman's tie-in book isn't important, there's a good chance none of them will be. So let's jump into this. And when you do, I think that you can see the problems that Joshua Williamson is up against immediately. Bruce Wayne's biggest nightmares are very, very easy to guess, even for casual fans, because we've all seen this over and over and over. I'm not just talking back in the day, back issue stuff here. I'm talking about recent stories and events that have dealt with this same exact thing. Now, when we're going through it, and what I'm saying is we're going to end up seeing the alley, the pearls, the gun, all of that stuff. And the visuals are horrific enough, but still, no matter how you slice it, we've all seen little boy Bruce in the alley 100 different ways and times. Still, I did like some of the stuff here. Young Bruce feels a lot like Damian, which made me smile. And Williamson shows the reader in a clever way that Deadman is in control of Bruce's body in the waking world while all of this is going on, and sets up the clear thing that Bruce needs to do. He needs to get back to the waking world and his body and Deadman, all of that while kind of being taunted by Insomnia. And I am intrigued by Insomnia, the villain for this event, and his hunt for the Nightmare Stone. But every time he told Batman that he was creating his own nightmares, it just reminded me so much of the setup of Scott Snyder's Dark Multiverse. And with that, at least Insomnia doesn't look like the Joker who laughs. But we still have time, people. We still have time. Now, there is a twist at the end, but how much does it matter since we know we're in the nightmare realm? Now, in the First Blood, you ended up having Harley Quinn out of nowhere determine that we're playing Freddy Krueger rules here. If you die in the dream or nightmare, you die in real life. But that doesn't seem to be at play here anyway. It doesn't feel like Bruce is in big trouble with that. He just needs to get the heck out of the prison of his own nightmares to get back to his body to solve the bigger thing. Now, all of that going on, the big play here actually feels like it's going on in the Damian backup, which once you jump into that, it is a bit jarring because of the art change. But I got used to that very quickly, and I started enjoying the Damian backup way more than anything I was reading in that front up. Continuing from the Free Comic Book Day issue, Damian kicks some ass, he takes some names, and prepares himself to be the big hero of this spooky summertime Night Terrors event. And I know that some people hate Damian. I personally love him and can't wait to see him go after Insomnia. Though in a weird play, we're going to have to wait until Night Terrors #3 at the beginning of August to do that, which is a bummer. And it's not a great way to play this out. You need to get people inspired to get to whatever the big next thing is. And that would be Night Terrors #1, but we're going to have to wait till Night Terrors #3 to continue that. The backup did raise my score in the end, but I was still disappointed with how little I cared about the main story. It wasn't horrible. It just was something I've seen 100 times before. The art in both stories, while vastly different, was still good. And so overall, I'm going to give Night Terror's Batman #1 a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's going to convince anyone to buy every single issue of the event, but I don't think they will be pissed off that they bought this one issue. Now, as an aside, first off, I want to mention, if you can hear the fireworks going off because, Summerween is the time where you hear fireworks going off during a spooky story review, driving me nuts. But as another aside, you can read both Night Terror's First Blood and this Batman tie-in issue right now in the Ultra subscription, if you have that on the DC Infinite app, which is pretty cool. It might be a way to get more people to read these, which is good, but also maybe, try out that Ultra deal because it is a pretty good bargain. You get the books a month out, but these you're getting day and date, which is really, really cool for a big event like this. So with that, again, 6 out of 10. I'd love to hear what everybody else thought of this issue. And maybe you can, talk about the fireworks going off during Summerween. It is, oh my God, it's so spooky. I'm telling you, the biggest fear I had while doing this was the fear that the fireworks were going to start while I was recording. And there it is. I'm living out my worst nightmare right now in front of you. So there you go. Hey, everybody, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the videos, the channel. Now I'm out of sorts. Also like the video. That's the sort of thing that helps us grow, keeps me inspired to doing all these things, maybe even up the ante, and maybe set off some of my own fireworks. I don't know. Not a big fireworks fan. I like to keep my thumbs. So with all of that, thanks, everybody, and I'll talk to you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.